Hello, everyone. Gene here with another episode, and I just want to address a couple of very common issues that people run into while having astral projection experiences, as well as some effective tips for chanting mantras that I haven't covered yet. All of the advice in this video should be very unique to most of you. I don't really see this information being shared around. The first tip is about not being able to see in the astral. This is very common, and it's where someone is in the astral and everything is dark. They are in their astral body, moving around in another dimension, but they cannot see. And the second tip is about not being able to go through walls. More commonly, the person cannot leave their room. And if they try to go through a wall, they either get stuck or wake up. These two problems that people run into are very predominant indicators that you are in a typical astral environment as opposed to a dream, because unlike a dream, you are experiencing what absolutely feels like physical limitation. And in many ways, in those moments, you are experiencing physical limitation in the astral. So the astral is not 100% non physical. It does have some physical like quality to it, some physicality. Not in the normal way we understand it, but in a more malleable and energetic way. Because remember, the astral is intimately connected to the physical, it is not something separate. Whereas in dreams, anything is possible and it is separate and it is completely non physical. If you want to see something in a dream, you can see it. If you want to go through walls or objects in dreams, it's usually very easy. But it's not the case for the astral plane and the astral body, because these environments have a substance and objective quality of its own, not powered from the measly fantasies of the egoic, illusory mind or dreams. So, three tips in this episode, and there are timestamps in the description for each section if you aren't interested in all of them. And just before I get into them, a reminder that if you want to join a like minded group of people, we have a private Astral Doorway Discord group, which has a lot of wise, supportive, and experienced members, both in general spirituality and astral travel. And of course, I am very active there helping people too. The Patreon link is in the description below if you're interested in joining. A shout out to Jazz, Chris, Ben, Jorg, Lucifer, and Hunter, who all joined this week. So let's begin with not being able to see in the astral, or astral blindness, as it's sometimes referred to. If you've experienced it before, then you'll absolutely know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, well, it's where you are out of body, but you simply cannot see. The solution I'm giving is extremely simple, and it has always worked for me in my personal experience. And it's a little trick that you may have not heard of before. So if you ever cannot see while in the astral, simply use your fingers to pry open your eyelids. So, again, to be very clear, you are in a situation where you are in your astral body and you move your astral hands to your astral eyes and you use your astral fingertips to force open your eyelids. When you do this, you will begin to see where you are and what is in front of you and around you. I'm stressing the word astral body parts because people always ask if you have to use your physical body at all, and of course not. Clearly, if you opened your physical body's eyes, then you will wake up. So, to be even more specific, I personally, you don't have to, but it makes the most sense. I personally use my index fingers and thumbs to open my eyes in the astral. It's like pinching your eyes, but you're opening them. Once your astral eyes are open, start analyzing any visual details that you spot, and your vision will slowly ground itself in the environment and become stronger. Now, don't worry about if your physical eyes will open or something. Just focus on seeing in the experience that you are. You should not even be thinking about your physical body. Just enjoy and be immersed in wherever you are out of body. Now, some people will advise to move away from your body. Some people seem to experience this astral blindness if they're near their physical body and they can't open their eyes. It sounds like it works for a lot of people that if they can't see, they just travel away from their physical body and then they can see. Personally, I've never experienced anything like that. Regardless of where I am, even if I'm next to my physical body, I'm still able to open my eyes with the technique that I just explained. Another common piece of advice is saying an affirmation such as clarity now. I think that should work too, but again, I've never had to attempt to use anything like that. Simply using my fingers has always worked for me personally. So, if you're stuck having these experiences where you can't see and you've tried different things, then definitely give this a go, where you use your fingertips to simply open your eyes. Now, the next tip is about not being able to travel through walls or fly through walls. It's very common, especially for those who are relatively new to astral projection. They usually find themselves in a situation where they come out of their body successfully in their room, but they can't leave their room or house because they can't go through walls, or better said, they don't know how to. And it's mostly because they probably are overthinking the process when they are going through a wall. That's what it seems like when people ask me this question. They have a lot of apprehension and anxiety towards it. So, of course, when it happens in their experience, then it may not go the way that they want. Some people even begin to believe it's not possible because, unlike dreams, the physicality of the astral has become very apparent to them. They go around with a core belief that the astral dimension is a place where it isn't possible to go through walls, but it is possible. And the solution is also quite simple, but requires a little more practice and willpower. So, when you're in the astral, no matter where you are, if you want to go through a wall, you usually can't go through it with a bit of weak little effort. You must first brace yourself and get ready to go through the wall. Become like a bull who's ready to bulldoze. Feel strength and absolute conviction that you will go through the wall successfully. I never usually had issues with going through walls, but sometime earlier this year, I was in the astral exploring a church which was closed, and so I went into it by going through a wall. The first time was fine. I went through it as I usually do, and I found myself in a room with the doors locked. And so I tried to go through a wall again, but to my surprise, I ended up about halfway through the wall and bounced back into the same room. I did it again and the same thing happened. And so, with determination, I braced myself and strengthened myself and ran into the wall with force. And I successfully went through to the other side into another room. And I kept doing this throughout the church until I decided to leave again. I kept going through the walls because, I wanted to practice and master going through walls. And so, really, it's quite simple. You just need some determination and willpower, as I said earlier. So, ever since this experience, I have always gone through walls in this same spirit. Just simply get ready to go through it, like when runners in a marathon get ready to race, they take a stance where they're ready to zoom forward in an instant. It's that simple. Be strong and vigorously push yourself through the other side quickly with a warrior like mindset or attitude. Okay, so definitely give this a try if you've been having problems not being able to go through walls. Don't let it demotivate you if you failed in the past. It is possible. The last tip I want to talk about is a very effective way to chant almost any mantra, and it's a combination of saying them out loud and also mentally. I've given a few mantras now, and I'll be discussing even more in the future. And, just before I do start talking about even more mantras, I want to first stress that by no means is this tip mandatory, nor is there usually any kind of strict way you should chant mantras. Since I've released videos about mantras, which a lot of you have been enjoying and having success with, which is really great to hear. There have also been a lot of questions related to how they should be recited. And there's quite a few people who are almost overthinking the process and sort of missing the point of the mantras. With mantras, you can simply experiment like a scientist in terms of how you want to chant them. You can combine ways to do it at different times of the day or do them for different lengths of time. Follow your gut, follow your instincts, follow what you enjoy. After a certain amount of practice, you'll develop a sense of what you need during certain times in your life. A lot of people are always asking, what's the best way? Just give me, a black and white answer. But everyone is different. And every day brings new energies. Life comes in seasons. So, for those of you asking me what are the best ways, this is simply why it's impossible for someone else to judge what's best for someone. In reality, there is no best way or worst way to chant mantras. Find your way and what works for you. Remember that what is primary is the practice of delving into deeper states of consciousness while in meditation. And what is secondary is how we are chanting any given mantra. So, with all that said, this is a method for chanting mantras and can be applied to any of the mantras I've taught on this channel and for future ones. Even the Egypto mantra can be applied in this way. So, again, this is quite a simple technique. All you do is begin by chanting the mantra out loud for a certain length of time during your meditation, and then slowly, as you begin to get into a calmer and deeper state, and perhaps a little lethargic state, right? You might even feel you are in some kind of trance, you are going very deep. You begin to quieten and slow down the mantra until you eventually begin chanting the mantra mentally. Okay, so this tip is about reciting mantras out loud and then going deeper and deeper into yourself until you eventually start mantralizing mentally, which means you are not using your physical voice. So as you begin to only do it mentally, you keep a sense of still allowing the mantra to be chanted deeper and deeper inside within yourself. So the longer you chant the mantra and stay in meditation, the deeper you go. And the deeper you let the mantra penetrate within deeper and more profound levels of your being, deeper neural pathways of the mind. And this can be reflected in the way you chant the mantra, which starts off being in the physical and slowly transitions to being chanted in the non physical in your mind. So, for example, the Fa Ra Om mantra, you can simply chant it out loud. Fa Ra Om. And then as you go deeper and say it more quietly and profoundly, Fa Ra, as if you're falling to sleep, and then eventually there is absolute silence in the physical, and your mind continues to chant the mantra internally, mentally. And of course, with the Fa Ra Om mantra, you eventually fall asleep with it. Or if it's other types of mantras, especially ones I'll be teaching in the future, you eventually just stop doing it mentally, enjoy some inner peace and silence for some time until you decide to bring back your awareness back to the physical when you decide to stop your practice. Okay, so this technique to chant mantras is kind of like catapults, except the catapult is not going outwardly, it is going inwardly. We start off loud and external, and it moves inwards, deeper and deeper into more profound states of being. You could call it the backwards catapult mantra technique. Okay, so I'm sure these few tips will help a lot of you, I hope. And these are related to a lot of common questions I get. So if you have any questions, you're always free to ask below. As you've probably noticed, I get back to almost all the questions that I can. Sometimes I may not be able to see your question. I may have missed it because YouTube doesn't make it clear sometimes to see all of the comments. So if you want more one-on-one opportunities to get help from me or others, consider joining the Patreon where I will definitely see your messages. This is Astral Doorway, and I'll see you on the next episode.